Hey everyone, it's Tyler Michelle Strike from Universal Rackets, and today we're going over how to hit a topspin drive. We went over how to hit the topspin dink, the topspin lob, the topspin serve, but what we have not went over on this channel is the topspin drive. Now, the topspin drive, coming from a tennis background, is one of my favorite shots. When you're back at the baseline and you have your third, you have two choices. You can hit your drop or your drive. We're going to teach you how to hit an amazing topspin drive. They'll keep the ball low at your opponents. Also, you can use this type of shot for your return as well. We're going to teach you exactly how to get that topspin on the ball step by step with tons of tips and tricks. Now, to start off, when you hit topspin, you have to understand what the ball is doing. The ball is spinning or rotating downward into the court. I want you to think about the pickleball court. The pickleball court is small. You need to hit spin to keep the ball in. Once again, you need to hit spin to keep the ball in. There's a couple shots that players, they can hit so hard, and the reason why that ball dips in is because topspin. Now tell us why you like the topspin drive, Michelle.
I want you to teach me today how to hit a topspin drive that is so aggressive and accurate that when I hit it in my next match, it's not returned.
We'll try, we'll see what happens.
I also, to answer your question, love it because it really kicks back up at the person if it is bouncing before them.
Yeah, and that's a huge thing as well. So
it's aggressive.
When topspin hits, the ball's spinning downward, that when it hits the ground, it kicks up and bounces up. Now clearly it's going to be a bit lower than it normally does because it's a wiffle ball hitting the concrete. However, it's going to go down and then it's going to kick up. So it's going to make your opponents more uncomfortable. And also, like you said, aggressive. Playing with topspin, you can be super aggressive. A normal ball that you're going to hit might go long, it might go out, you might have to slow it down to keep it in. Now, because we teach you this topspin, now that ball is going to be able to dip down, dive down, and stay down into the court. Topspin basically keeps every single one of your shots in.
Yes.
So the first thing that we have to go over for topspin is the proper grip. Now, if you want the proper grip in topspin, I want you to stick your paddle straight out in front. And if you're a right-handed player, you're going to tilt your paddle to the left, like 11 o'clock. If you're a left-handed player, you're going to tilt your paddle to the right. Think 12 o'clock's up here, 6 o'clock's down here. And stay with me for this clock analogy because we are going to be using it in this intro to understand the proper grip and the swing path. So again, 11 o'clock. You want it more, I like to say Eastern. Now, players that come from a tennis background, they tilt it more down, even more, Western, semi-Western. No, it's pickleball, okay? The ball doesn't grip the strings like it does or it doesn't grip the paddle like it does the strings in tennis. So you wanna make sure that you're around Eastern right here, okay? You want the paddle face to always be tilted downward. I want you to think by tilting the paddle face downward, it's going to allow you to brush the back of the ball. And again, think my fist is the ball. You are going from low to high. Again, 12 o'clock up here, 6 o'clock down here. You are going from 6 to 12 when you hit every single time. So now we're tilting our paddle downward. We know that we have to brush or go low to high, south to north on the ball. Now we have to do our swing path. It's the same thing, low to high, 6 to 12, swinging upward when you hit. So remember, when we get into all these drills, all these different tips and tricks, tilt the paddle downward, swing low to high, 6 o'clock down here, 12 o'clock down up here, and you're going to be good to go. Should we get started?
Yes.
Okay. So we have the proper grip. We have to tilt the paddle face down. We have that we're swinging low to high. Now we have to go over the pressure of your grip. A lot of players, where they go wrong and why they can't hit good topspin from the start is because they hold their paddle super tight. If you play with spin, you're going to keep the ball in. If you hold the paddle super tight, it's not going to be right. In order to hit topspin, you have to have rotation on the ball. And you get the rotation on the ball from your paddle and acceleration on your paddle. In order to accelerate, you have to make sure you hold the paddle loose and not hold the paddle tight. On a scale 1 to 10, 10 being a death grip, 1 being dropping your paddle, you want to be around a 2.5. If you want to hit more topspin, try to hold the paddle a slight bit looser than you normally do. So number 1, you need to hold the paddle loose. Now, when I hit this topspin forehand drive, what I'm going to do is I am going to take the paddle back high. And that's the first thing that we have to do. A lot of players, they start with the paddle low. And for a beginner, that's perfectly fine. But the only thing I can do when I have the ball paddle low is I can swing up when I hit. If I take the paddle back high, then what's going to happen is I'm going to be able to then go low and then go high. Taking your paddle back high is going to allow you to drop and get below the ball. That's 6 o'clock, like we said, and then you're going to be able to lift and get above the ball and hit that topspin. So the first thing that you need to do is take your paddle back high. When you take your paddle back high, you need to make sure that the tip of your paddle is pointing upwards or pointing backwards. What you don't want to do is have your tip of your paddle facing downwards. So step number 1 for the forehand topspin drive is taking your paddle back upwards. So Michelle, I'm going to teach you how to get this super aggressive topspin. So you're going to be right here and you're going to take your paddle back upwards. Good. Now we're going to be hitting into the court. So turn this way to me and take your paddle back upwards. Good. Now when you take your paddle back upwards, notice again, the tip of the paddle's here. And then also your face of your paddle is touching my palm. So you can do this. Now, after you get to here, that's step number 1, proper take back, your body sideways. Now we're going to go to step number 2, which is the drop. So again, here's 1, here's 2. Here's 1, here's 2. So step number 1 is turn. Step number 2 is drop. Good. Now, after you drop and you get here, then you are going to swing forward. And this is the whole 3-step process that you're going to need regardless of your playing level. Number 1's the take back, number 2 is the drop, and then number 3 is the swing. And Michelle, I feel like for you, you can't hit topspin a lot because you don't take the paddle back high.
Okay.
Is that correct?
Probably.
You come around the ball a lot.
Yeah.
Now we're teaching you how to get under the ball.
Okay.
A normal drive, you're going to be swinging through the ball, but now you're taking the paddle back up, so now you can get under the ball and lift the ball up in the air. So what I want you to do is take the paddle back, step 1, step number 2, drop it, good, step number 3, hit. Look at that topspin. Did you hear it?
It felt great.
How good was that?
It's great.
And you could hear the different sound of the ball. If you're hitting through the ball kind of flat, you're going to hear a pop sound. If you hit proper topspin, you're going to hear more of a brush sound because you're getting up the back of the ball. So again, take your paddle back, drop, good, now swing. Can we do it with the ball? Back, drop, swing. Good. One more. Back, drop, swing. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so now a big thing that you're doing is the dropping. And what we have to teach all you subscribers and viewers to do is to drop the paddle correctly. Take the paddle back. How she gets from step 1 to step 2 isn't this, and this is what a lot of players will do, and this is because you have that death grip, right? They force their arm to come down and then they hit it out. All she has to do to get from step number 1 to step number 2 is literally release the paddle in her hand. I want you to pretend that the tip of your paddle is weighted. The moment that you release it, what's going to happen? It's going to go straight down. So guys, this is huge. Again, what I don't want you to do is hold the paddle tight, force step number 2, and then swing. I want you to take the paddle back, then just let it go, and then swing to step number 3. This is why we break it up, Michelle, because I'm teaching you how to get into this drop position, which you typically don't do.
Okay.
So take the paddle back, drop it loose, good. And now here we are, you're going to swing. Good, one more, paddle back, drop, swing. Good, nice, nice, nice. How's it feeling?
Good.
Good? Does it feel different?
Yes.
And
Feels
why?
very calm and relaxed.
And why? Because you are dropping the paddle downward.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to teach you another way to ensure that you can drop the paddle every single time. And this is a great drill to do. So take the paddle back real quick. Notice when Michelle drops, drop, turn around, face the camera with the drop. Good, perfect, sorry about that. Look at her butt cap. Her butt cap is pointing towards the ball. By pointing your butt cap backwards like this, that's going to ensure that your paddle tip is below your hand. Again, by pointing the butt cap facing forward, that's going to ensure that the paddle tip is below our hand. It's also pointing downward. So again, tip up, tip down. Now that's going to ensure that I can get under and swing and lift the ball up. So a great drill to do is pretend, or a great cue to do for amazing topspin is by exaggerating that butt cap and pointing it forward. So you're going to take the paddle back, you're going to drop, point the butt cap to the ball, paddle tip is not, it's at the hand. Thank you, here we are. So again, and what I mean by that, take the paddle back, and this is where Michelle goes wrong, and it's a habit. She goes here. She needs to be here. This is flat, this is long, this is, I can't hit a forehand for my life.
This is no power.
This is it. Now, because you're under it, you can swing when you hit. And look at all that height. You hit the ball about this high, and it dipped into the court, and then it kicked up to your opponent because you were doing that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you have to make sure, again, that you take the paddle back, tip up, facing to the side, then you drop the paddle. By dropping the paddle, you're just releasing it. Your butt cap is a cue to point it forward. And now we have to go over the last thing, and that's the follow through. You need to make sure that you follow through. You want to check that's still good? So in pickleball, you have to make sure that you follow through every single time. Rotation equals acceleration. The only way that you can accelerate is you have to go for your shot. You are never going to be able to hit topspin if you just try to slow down your paddle. And what I mean by that is players, they want to get the ball in, they don't want to miss, they're nervous, and they slow it down. The only way that you can hit topspin is by accelerating your paddle. You have to commit, you have to go for it. You need to swing 2 times as faster than you would when you're not trying to hit topspin. So what I mean by that is you need to swing so fast that when you swing, you can hear a whoosh against your paddle. You can hear the wind or the air compressing against your paddle. This is not good. This is good. You need to commit, you need to go for it. How do we ensure that we commit? How do we ensure that we go for it other than holding the paddle loose? It's that we do a whole follow through. If you can have a follow through cue, just like I gave you a cue for the butt cap, it's going to ensure that you follow through every single time. So there are 3 cues that we are going to go through. Cue number 1 is the elbow tip. Once you're done, you want your elbow pointing towards your target. Wherever you point your elbow to, the ball is going to go. By making sure that my elbow's pointing forward every single time, that's going to ensure that I did a full swing and I made sure I let my paddle do the work and not work for me. Or sorry, I let my paddle work for me and not work for the paddle, right? So number 1, again, I want you to try, you're going to swing, and every single time you're done again, you're going to point your elbow forward when you hit. So again, you're going to swing every single time, and you're going to point your elbow once you're done. When I give you these follow-through tips, you're not going to force the elbow, just like you're not going to force the drop. You're going to have your elbow end up as a result. Again, I'm not making it go here. I'm just swinging, letting my paddle go so much that it's going to end up here as a result. Any questions?
And I like the elbow tip as well, because where your elbow points is where the ball is going to go. So it will also help you with accuracy.
And that's right. And
a lot of times when I miss, I feel myself finishing like this. And that's because it's lazy and it's just not good enough of a habit yet for me, for my drives. But when they're good, I see my elbow pointing to exactly where the ball lands.
100%. And I feel like with you, what happens is you come from a lacrosse basketball background, you want to hit the ball as hard as possible and you tighten up. You need to let it go. Again, the biggest players, or the players with the biggest topspin drives in pickleball, are players who they don't look like they're hitting it so hard. They look like they're effortless. But the reason why is because they have the proper mechanics that we are going over. So again, we are going to do the elbow tip. So you're going to turn, here we are, and elbow. Point your elbow once you're done. One more. Freeze. Good. So a great thing to do is once you're done, I want you to take a split pause. Pretend you have a huge crowd over here. You're going to show your beautiful smile to the camera or the crowd, and then you're going to go back. The reason for the split second pause is you can really check how it feels and make sure that you follow through. If you ever miss, also you can be like, okay, did I not follow through? Because again, there will be too many players for third shot drives trying to hit topspin that they'll be like this. No, you need to make sure that you're like this every single time.
And the difference here too is, like, I feel like when we talk about drops in other videos, you can get away with your paddle following through where your paddle goes, the ball will go. But in a drive, when you're deeper in the court, you want the elbow. So it's very different than the drop because you're working through the ball and you're looking for a full follow through and swing, which is very different than the drop.
Every single time. Yeah, the drop you're swinging up, this you need to fully go through it. So the elbow is the first type of follow through that I would like you to try for topspin. The second type of follow through that you can try is you're going to pretend that you have a watch on your hitting wrist. So if I watch on my right wrist, when I go and swing, I'm going to check the watch every single time. I'm going to check the watch every single time. Now you with your elbow, that's amazing. I'm going to have you feed the ball to me because I don't want you to try this and mess you up. What you're going to do though is if you're new to topspin or you're new to it, wanting to improve this topspin shot, you're going to try all 3 follow throughs. Ready? So I'm going to check what time it is on my wrist. Again, once I'm done, I'm going to swing. What time is it? Again, it happens as a result. Here we are. One more. If you can't tell, I don't really like this one. One more. Personally, I like the elbow as well. I feel like the elbow is the most user-friendly, but this works for people, and that's that. Now, the last one that you can try is the butt cap. So, butt cap number 1 is here, but now butt cap number 2 is going to be once you're done, you're going to show your butt cap again. So again, you're going to take the paddle back, butt cap, and then when you swing, you're going to show your butt cap again. Let's go. Here we are. So I'm going to show my butt cap. Again, I'm going to show my butt cap pointing forward towards my target. I'll go over here now, watch what happens. Wherever I point my body to or follow through to, the ball's going to go. So not only this is going to help you with topspin, but this is going to help you with accuracy as well. So our phone overheated. However, I'm not sure exactly where we left off, but a lot of players think in order to hit topspin, you have to turn your wrist. And what I mean by that is players, they go out on court and they try to literally turn their wrist. So they're going to hit every single time and they think, oh, I have to move my wrist. And it's never going to work. You never want to turn the wrist. You never want to turn the key. The proper wrist movement for a topspin drive is by going low to high. And how do we do that is by our swing path. It's by letting our paddle go. It's not by turning the wrist again. So you never want to go like this. The best way to learn the topspin motion for your wrist is all you're going to do is you are going to wave. So right now, you're going to, if you're watching this, wave to the camera. People might look at you weird if you're watching this in public, but you're waving to the camera. Now, all you're going to do is you're going to tilt your wave to the side. If I'm a left-handed player, it's going to look like this. If it's a right-handed player, I'm going to look like this. And then all you're going to do is tilt it downward a tiny bit, and then you're going to do your wave again. So again, I'm going to wave vertically. I'm going to tilt my wave to the side, and then I'm going to do a sideways wave. This is how I am going to hit it at all times. I'm going to be doing this left-handed because there is shade for the camera on this side, not on that side. So all I'm going to do for the topspin again is I'm going to do an upper wave, I'm going to tilt my wave to the side, and then I'm going to do a sideways wave. This is the type of motion that I'm going to do. It's not this. So again, I'm going to do a sideways wave when I hit every single time. So keep the paddle up, turn it to the side, and do a sideways wave with my wrist. It's going to be exactly like this. That is the type of wave that you have to hit. Now, as I referenced before in this video, and what Michelle, her first shot that she hit, it had such good topspin, you can actually hear the topspin that you create. If you hit a ball with non-topspin, it's going to be a more thud sound. It's going to be a more pop sound. I'm hitting flat through the ball. But if you hit topspin, it's going to be more of a brush type of sound. Now, we are going to go over applying this in multiple drills. So the first thing that we're going to do for the topspin is we are going to realize the closer we get into the court, the less distance we have to cover. Once again, the closer you get into the court, the less distance we have to cover. So you can have someone feed to you, you can have someone hit to you, or you can feed yourself. And what you're going to do is the closer I get into the court, what does that mean? The more topspin I have to hit. Now, how do we hit more topspin? It's very simple. You have to increase your paddle speed. So when I'm back here, okay, I still want to hit spin, but I have a lot of more distance to cover. However, the closer I get to the net, the more I want to accelerate and commit to my swing. You have to commit because you have to hit twice as much spin to keep the ball in with half amount of court. Now, I want you to think about a line. Michelle, can we tilt the camera so we can get up here? When we are playing pickleball, when you're back at the baseline, I want you to think that there is a line on the net, like this high. So there's a net, and then there's another line going across the net. You guys see that? Now, that might be in the sun. I don't know. But when you're back at the baseline, you're going above the net. Maybe zoom in. When you're inside the court, you're going below the net. So I want you to think again, when you're back at the baseline, you want to go above the net. When you're up in the court, you want to go below the net. Now this is for normal drives when your opponent is back on the court. And what I mean by that is if you're hitting a return, if you're hitting a type of shot that you want to keep your opponent back after they hit their third when I'm back here, watch what my ball is going to look like. It's going to go above the net, above that line, so I can keep them deep. However, when I am forward into the court, I have less court to work with. Now I want to go under that line so I can keep the ball in and go forward. Now there is one exception for this rule, and that's when your opponent is up at the kitchen. Where do you want to hit your topspin drive to your opponent when they're up at the kitchen? It's very simple. You want to hit them at their feet. If you hit them at their feet, they will taste defeat. The reason why is if you hit me a topspin ball and it's at my shoulder, I'm going to be able to hit it down. However, if I can hit topspin and keep it low at their feet, that's going to force their opponent to hit up on the ball. So Michelle's going to catch this real quick. Now feed it to me. Where I don't want to give it to Michelle for my topspin drive is I don't want to give it up here because it's going to go long. Here, hit this one back. Or she's going to smash it down. Now, when you're a beginner, intermediate, club level player, you may get away with hitting hard topspin shots above around your opponent's chest. However, the more advanced you get and the more you want to win the points for sure, you have to hit it low at their feet. So again, I want to go below that imaginary line and try to get this topspin drive at their feet so then they'll pop it up, or they'll get it short so then I can win the point. She was waiting for her amazing forehand. Again, when I hit this topspin drive and she is up at the kitchen, I want to go below that imaginary line. That was above. Okay, I'll stay back for that one, right? So, okay, here we are. I want to drive. There we are. It's a little bit lower. And that'll create me a good point. It's much more difficult, right, to hit a ball lower and below the net, correct?
Definitely.
So that is huge to do. The best drills that I would recommend is literally start up here and work on really, so you're going to try to hit with me, do a slinky drill, right? So I'm accelerating, and now I have more distance to work with so I can get that feel of how much forward I want to hit. Another thing to do is get your opponent back at the baseline and do the same exact thing. Start back to baseline with your opponent. You stay back there. I'm trying to go deep every single time, but I'm really working on trying to keep that ball deep. And the closer I am to the court, the more I have to commit with spin every single time. Now your partner is going to try to work with you and give you a ball when you're moving up, and hopefully it's not 500 degrees on the court. Another great tip that I like to do, and I learned this in tennis but works in pickleball, and don't knock it till you try it, is if you're a right-handed player, you want to get the right side of the ball. If you're a left-handed player, you want to get the left side of the ball. And what I mean by that is when you're swinging, you want to get the outside of the ball. So again, if I'm a right-handed player, you're going to get the outside of the ball. If you're a left-handed player, you're going to get the outside of the ball. And that's going to really help you hit topspin as well. So when I'm hitting again, I'm going to try to think again. I'm going to get the outside of the ball. And that was a really good shot.
It was really good.
How did I get that shot? Because I went over the 3 steps. I went over the follow-throughs. And I did this many, many times. And that's the thing with topspin, guys. You guys have to do it many times. Repetition makes permanent, right? Practice makes permanent. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt the camera this way so we're absolutely not dying in the heat, and we're going to keep on going. So that's how you hit topspin, guys. It is low to high. Do these drills that we did. Understand that you're swinging low to high. Understand the path of the ball. Understand that you're lifting the ball up in the air. Do the drill on the cart that I gave you. Have to lift the ball up. Tilt your paddle downward. Try these follow-throughs. Realize that you have to accelerate. You have to commit to your shot. You have to give yourself a follow-through cue to ensure that you swing low to high. You have to start high so then you can go to low to high. If you don't already do that, that's probably why. And you can use a shot to be a very much more effective shot when you're on court.
There's something I actually didn't talk about. I'm surprised you did not bring this up in this video. I mean,
Too hot,
not that you're having
think.
like heat, exhaustion and heat stroke
Like
on
drenched.
the court. But what about rotation?
Yeah, so rotation. I breezed over it.
Demonstrated how to. You demonstrated things that will cause people to get rotation in their shot, but you didn't like talk on it.
Yeah, and like, so how do you get the power on the shot? Like that last drive that I hit at you, I was like, that was good, right?
Yeah.
Like that last one. And how did I hit hard? Well, I told you to hold the paddle tight or loose, right? Told you to hold the paddle loose, not tight. So how in the world, if I'm holding the paddle loose, how can I hit hard? It's very simple. You rotate your body. All the power comes from your forward momentum and your rotation. So I kind of breezed over it at first, but when your paddle tips up, also what you think is we went over the swing path, but with your body, you want your body sideways when you're hitting. Then when you swing forward, you want to turn your body forward. This right here is how you are going to get the rotation.
Right.
A great 2 tips to ensure that you're rotating a ton is number 1, think hips are aside, hips are forward, hips are aside, hips are forward. Another great tip is your backwards foot. By pivoting your back foot, that's going to get your hips to rotate automatically and hit. So again, when I go and I swing, I'm going to be here sideways and then I'm going to rotate forward. Another thing that I can do as well is always get my body into it and go forward. I don't want to make sure I'm falling back or to the side or anything like that.
And what's the worst position you can be in to get any type of power is open,
Not turn.
square to the court. Think about this too on your return, because the return is very similar to the topspin drive or any type of drive. If you're standing like this when the ball's coming to you, you're going to have no power at all whatsoever. So you have to turn your body and use this other hand to bring the paddle back to ensure that you're, you know, like you said in that other reel, hiding your logo, or you're turning your body to then come forward and use your legs to get the most power you can. If you don't do that, you're leaving it on the table.
Yeah, and you might see a couple pros, including myself, who's not a pro, but I try to be, is that I'll hit open stance, kind of because I'm lazy. Sometimes I want to be efficient, which is perfectly fine, which means they hold their body open, but they're still turning at their top half, and that's the difference. Beginner, people pick it up, they go, oh, I see people hit open stance, they're like this. No, the pros and everything, they're like this rotating, and then they're forward. So they're still rotating through their upper half, even though their bottom half.
You're never going to figure that out, though, unless you play tennis for 20 years.
100%. Or if you watch a YouTube video, which is probably what we should do next.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to add while I check?
No, I just wanted to make sure that we went over the rotation, because it's the best way to get power, and it's not something that will come naturally unless you understand this information and are able to put it into your game.
100%.
Like, I feel like I don't have a very powerful drive. That's why I drop a lot of my shots. Plus, I just love dropping. I love the slow game. I feel like I have a intense slow game. Did you see that?
No. What?
Slow drive by.
What are you talking about?
Nothing.
All right. So before we say some other random things that don't make sense, or the phone overheats, we're gonna end this video. We hope that's still running. Subscribe to us, share, click all the links. All the links are good. I feel like a lot of people have a lot of junk in all of our links. We have great links that you can use to improve your game. Have a good one. Happy hitting. Make sure to subscribe, share with a friend, hit amazing topspin, and we'll see you guys next time on court.